All right, let's jump right in. When you think about a creation story, you probably imagine something serene, right? A pure, peaceful beginning. But the story of Adam's creation, well, it's different. It kicks off with a huge, mysterious question, a controversy, really, that sets the stage for the entire human drama to follow. Now, really let that sink in. Who's asking this? These aren't the words of some doubter or a cynic. The source tells us these are the angels. And they're saying this at the exact moment God announces that humanity is about to exist. It's a pretty stunning, even shocking first reaction. So that brings us right to the heart of the matter, this angelic objection. It's way more than just a simple question. It's this moment that's just packed with mystery. Why would beings that are known for pure worship and total obedience, why would they react with such a dark, specific prediction about violence and corruption? Yeah, the real puzzle here isn't just that a new being was created, it's the immediate pushback. This one dialogue, this single question, is like the inciting incident for the entire human story. It creates this incredible tension between a divine plan and a really dire prophecy. To figure it out, we've got to rewind a bit and see what was said right before the angel spoke up. Okay, so to understand why the angels objected, we first have to look at what prompted it. And it all started with a divine declaration. This wasn't a brainstorming session. This was an announcement of a huge cosmic plan.
And this is the crucial piece of the puzzle right here. God tells the angels about his plan to put a brand new creation on earth. And he gives it a very specific, very powerful title. And that title is the key to this whole thing. Khalifa.
So what does Khalifa, or successor, actually mean in this context? It's really specific. It doesn't just mean one being taking over for another. It points to a whole lineage, a continuous cycle of generations who are meant to inherit the earth and act as its stewards. So you see, this was designed to be a long-term project from the very beginning, not just a one-time thing.
Right. So now that we have that context, this grand plan for a Khalifa who would lead generations on Earth, we can go back to that central mystery. How on earth could the angels have possibly known what this new creation was going to do?
Let's really dig into this because it's fascinating. They didn't just say humanity might have some flaws. No, they made very specific predictions, causing corruption and shedding blood. Where in the world did they get that kind of information?
The text doesn't give us one single definitive answer, but it does offer a couple of really compelling theories. First, maybe they had seen this movie before. Perhaps there were other creations on Earth before humanity, and the angels had a front row seat to see how that turned out. Or the second possibility, maybe it was a form of divine inspiration, a special insight that gave them a glimpse into the fundamental nature, the very blueprint of this new successor.
And this brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, and it really highlights the core of the conflict. We're talking about a fundamental difference between the nature of the angels and the predicted nature of this new Khalifa.
Just look at this contrast. It's stark, and it gets right to the heart of the angels' concern. On one side, you have them. Their very essence is described as innocent, only capable of absolute good. Their whole purpose is just constant, perfect worship. And then on the other side, you have the prediction for humanity, a being capable of causing corruption, shedding blood, a being capable of actual evil. You can start to see why the angels were so confused. I mean, from their point of view, it raised a pretty logical question. They already existed to do the ultimate thing, to glorify and praise God perfectly. So why would you introduce a new being that seemed destined to do the exact opposite? A creation that could choose corruption just seemed to fly in the face of what they understood the whole point of existence to be. And this is the final thought I want to leave you with. Our story doesn't kick off with a promise of perfection. It begins with a prophecy of our failings and a deep question about our very worthiness. It suggests that maybe the human journey was never meant to be simple or guaranteed. Maybe it's all about struggle, about choice, and about the incredible potential to rise above our predicted nature.
So what does it really mean that our story starts not with an answer, but with the biggest question? All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to explore a story that's absolutely foundational. It's not just about, the creation of the first human. It's about a conversation, a really profound dialogue that happened right at the beginning of everything. And honestly, this conversation, it might just be the key to understanding the entire human story.
Okay, so to really get this, we're not starting at the beginning. Nope. We're jumping right into the middle of the action. Just imagine this for a second. Before a single human being even existed, a question was asked. And this wasn't just any question. It was one that basically laid out our entire messy, complicated future. It's pure drama, and it all kicks off with this one absolutely startling prediction. And there it is. That's the question the angels ask directly to God. Just let that sink in for a moment. The very first thing recorded about humanity, before we're even on the scene, is this incredibly dark prediction. We're going to cause corruption, we're going to shed blood. I mean, talk about raising the stakes, right? It just forces you to wonder, how on earth could they have known? And that's the big mystery, isn't it? How did they know? So, to figure out where the angels got this shocking foresight, we've got to hit rewind. Let's go back and look at the exact announcement that made them ask this question in the first place. Right. So this brings us to the divine announcement. This is what kicked off the whole conversation. And you have to understand, the context here is absolutely everything. The angels didn't just pull this question out of thin air. They were reacting to something very specific. A huge, world-changing declaration from God himself. So the story really gets going when God tells the angels that he's going to place a Khalifa on the earth. That one word, Khalifa, it's the trigger, the catalyst for everything that comes next. So what in the world does it mean? Okay, so a Khalifa isn't just a one-time thing, like a king or a steward. The word itself implies something much bigger. It means a continuous line of successors, one generation after another, after another. It points to a creature that's meant to have this long unfolding story on the planet. And that one detail, it explains so much. The angels got it right away. Their question wasn't about one guy. It was about an entire species and our whole future. Okay, so now that we have that context, let's go back to the mystery. The angels hear this word, Khalifa. They immediately understand it means a long line of generations. And bam, they instantly connect that idea to corruption and bloodshed. This proves their question wasn't just some random guess. No way. It was an informed and very pointed inquiry. And that brings us right to the question that thinkers and scholars have been wrestling with for, well, centuries. What gave the angels this incredible and, let's be honest, kind of pessimistic insight into what humanity would be like? How did they know? So, how did they pull it off? Well, there are a few leading ideas. One theory is that they'd seen this movie before, They had prior experience with other creations on Earth that didn't end so well. Another idea is that it was a flash of divine inspiration. God just gave them the knowledge. Or, and this one is really compelling, maybe God gave them a little sneak peek, a glimpse into the actual blueprint of this new creature. A look into our fundamental nature, but the angels' question wasn't just about us. It didn't stop with that dark prediction. They immediately followed it up with a contrast. They basically described their own job, their own purpose. And this